Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. Thank you very, very much for being here. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we've got Kevin McCarthy sort of dissing Gates, basically saying that Matt Gates, is worse than George Santos in terms of not good activity. The DC appeals court basically tweaked a few things of Judge Chutkin's gag order, but basically it's holding. So Trump didn't get what he wanted there. On Monday, Trump was supposed to, take the stand and not be a coward, according to his lawyer, Hava, because cowards don't take the stand, but he would be there. He's not there. I guess his lawyers finally got through to him and said, just cannot go on the stand and start rambling. So that's going on. I'm not quite sure what happens next. I mean, logic tells me that it should almost be some sort of like a closing argument that should be coming up. So there's lots of kind of bits and bobs going on. So I thought I would just take a bit of a peek and see if I could I want to actually zero in on how Kevin McCarthy is doing, particularly with regards to Matt Gates, Santos, like that. So if there's any question in anybody's mind that Kevin's quitting was sort of a bit of a revenge move, listen, it absolutely honestly was, right? I mean, he got just railroaded by Matt Gates, and he was not going to, kind of sit quietly and frankly take that kind of humiliation. So you've got Kevin McCarthy basically saying to the party, I don't care if you have a really, really slim majority. Um, I'm not hanging around to be, insulted and ridiculed. I can't blame them. So I want to take a look at that quick and just see this. I think I might be doing kind of a couple little bops to different people here today. There's that one issue that's really jumping out at me. So let's just take a quick peek at Kevin McCarthy, shall we? Kevin McCarthy trajectory, Kevin McCarthy trajectory, Kevin McCarthy trajectory. Okay, yeah. All right. Oof. Okay. All right. So literally, this poor guy, we're literally starting with both the 8 and the 10 of swords. All right. So this is truly how he was feeling, right? He was feeling like he got absolutely stabbed in the back by his party. He was feeling that he didn't have any room to maneuver. There is a sense that um, you know, he had lost his effectiveness, basically. So what he did was he, Wheel of Fortune, he took matters into his own hand and just decided, the hell with that, I'm just going to leave. Now, the communications of that is really important because there is sort of like an energy underneath it that really is sort of I don't care if you think I'm being childish. I'm going to blab this stuff anyways. Like that kind of almost like schoolyard behavior. But frankly, he's really hurt, right? I mean, his entire political career is now trashed. Now, listen, I ain't defending him. He brought that on himself by refusing to have a spine. But so he's not going to go exactly quietly. All right. So, and this is the thing, he is carrying a lot of information. He knows stuff about a lot of people. And I think that there could very well be a few people in the Republican Party who might be a little bit nervous about what Kevin, in this sort of angry mode he's in, might do or say. Now, the one thing that Kevin was really good at, they say, was fundraising. Apparently, that was like his strength. And so the party's having enough trouble financially. They're really having trouble juggling. I mean, for God's sakes, one of Donald Trump's PACs just paid $900,000 for one expert witness to go on the stand and say that Donald Trump did nothing wrong in the civil New York case. His accounting practices were just tickety-boo fine. So, you've got the RNC and his PACs paying legal bills. Apparently, whatever money Trump is getting, he's not sharing with the Republicans, which means they're bleeding money but not gaining money. So they've got some problems there. And so in losing Kevin, they've sort of they've hurt themselves in terms of being able to kind of financially keep um that wheel turning. So there's an issue there. Now, Kevin hasn't quite decided yet how far he's going to take this, but he's angry. All right. He is especially angry at Matt Gaetz. And Matt Gaetz is so pompous, so full of himself, so entitled that he's done a lot of things that really can be used against him. And I'm just talking, never mind the whole underage thing. I'm not going there. I'm just talking about things like showing videos of people he slept with on the house floor, being okay. So there's a lot of garbage around him. And there almost is like some strategy going on in terms of how to put out enough stuff to actually really create a lot of gossip, a lot of confusion, innuendo, that kind of thing. Kevin is completely focused on getting himself into something that looks like more stable ground. All right. He is still a young man. He has to salvage some sort of a career going forward. And the problem is, he was trying to straddle two worlds, right? He was trying to be all mega, 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 but have one foot in this is responsible governing and this is how budgets work and this is what you have to do. So he sort of aggravated both sides of the party. All right. Where he's at right now, it looks like um, he might get some news. I think, and it feels like a double-edged sword, even though I'm looking at the Page of Cups here. It feels like it it might help him start to salvage his reputation, but it also feels like either it's not going to be enough, or in order to like say for example he wanted to join like a really staunch Republican think tank, that means that he would have to disassociate from everything mega. Or if he wants to go in the direction of mega, he would really have to completely disassociate from everything that we'll consider traditional Republican politics. So he's working hard to try to find a home for himself, but he has some work to do. He really, really does. And his communications, the things he's saying, are going to be very interesting over the next little while. So let's not lose track of what Kevin is doing, and more importantly, saying. All right. I'm going to just shove these cards back into the deck. And I want to actually take a quick look at Matt Gaetz, because we know that what is it, the House Ethics Committee is continuing their investigation on him. And apparently that sucker has expanded. It's not shrinking as they eliminate stuff. Apparently, look, what they're saying is it has expanded. So I guess the more they find, the more they have to go look at. So I want to take a look at him and just see how he is doing. You know, the energy, as soon as you step into the energy of Matt Gates, um, you know, he's just that person, like, I just wanna smack him, and I'm not violent, but you just wanna, like, wipe that smirk off of his face because he's so entitled, he's so full of himself, he's so sure that, you know, his bleep don't stink. Eh, eh, and that's part of the reason why he does and did some of the stuff that he has apparently, allegedly done, because he really believes that nobody, um should try to rein him in, that he should just do whatever he wants to do because he's Matt Gaetz. Take a quick look and see how Matt Gaetz is doing. And not to mention, let's not forget the fact that there is a goodly number of Republicans in the House who are also upset with him because of the way Kevin McCarthy was treated and what he did there. Here we go. Matt Gaetz trajectory, Matt Gaetz trajectory, Matt Gaetz trajectory. Let's take a quick peek and see what we can see. Oops. Okay. So he's starting off with the Queen of Swords. So this has to do with the law. It also has to do with feminine energy. So there is a feeling that you know how we always say that it was going to be women that took down Trump? Kind of the same thing. There's going to be stuff around behavior around women that is not going to reflect well. Six of Cups, they're going back a ways, all right? You know, they're not going back prior to him being, you know, in government, but they're taking a pretty close look at behaviors. And what they're finding is there's a lot there to find. So they're continuing to compile stuff. It looks like there are going to be, I'm going with three, either three women, three instances, or three specific areas that they're focusing on and that they're likely to come down on. He's got the chariot following that. It feels a little bit chaotic. It doesn't feel like the ethics house committee is chaotic, but it feels like stuff is coming in that on first glance almost doesn't seem to be connected. But when you look at it a little bit deeper, there is a connection there between some things that are random, some of the stuff they've been told from one person, and like I'm not sure what's going on there. The energy though really feels like they continue to move forward with the investigation. And the more that's happening, frankly, I got to tell you, it feels like the more arrogant and erratic that he may come because he's going to start to get kind of scared that, you know, you know, he kind of might be in trouble. And this is the sad thing that it would seem, again, just from what I can see on public, you know, airwaves, that the Republicans really have not behaved very well. Um, you know, I think part of the reason that they really didn't react in a super negative way, or certainly they cooled their jets about Donald Trump's behavior with the, you know, the tape and the I can grab them was because I think on some level, that sort of locker boy, and it's probably insulting locker boys mentality, kind of permeates that old boys club. And so I think that it was a lot of what went on was I think some of the people who were being shown stuff by Gates, etc., it feels as if what they were thinking was not that that was horrible or that he was no kind of a man or anything like that. They were just thinking that he wasn't being as careful. with what he was putting out there, as he should be. Um, yeah, that was it. Just he wasn't being as circumspect as he should be. And of course he wasn't, because that goes back to that fundamental arrogance that he has. All right. Well, this is how it looks like it's going to end for good old Matt. He has, oh my God, he has justice, he has judgment, and he has death. So I can't sit here and say that he's going to be drummed out of um, the house, but it definitely looks like he is going to be in for a little bit of a rough ride. Um, and it's he now I am energetically right now, I'm sort of feel like he's going to still be protected. The Republicans are going to surround him to try to keep him safe for a while, simply because they can't afford to lose him. But he definitely has some very difficult times coming up for him, and more. He's not going to have the ability to, like, to justify it or excuse it. He's just going to end up kind of with a smear on him. And that's not going to be so easy to deal with. So that's what it looks like for Matt Gates. It looks like he is going to have a little bit of a rough go of it as things unfold over the next little while. All right. And let's just take a look see at how Trump is doing, because things aren't going so well for him. Apparently, Jack Smith is taking up all the way to the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, this idea of whether or not Donald Trump has complete immunity for the stuff he did while he was in office. Because let's not forget, his lawyers are basically saying, oh no, if Donald Trump actually shot somebody on Fifth Avenue when he was president, he could not be charged with that because he has this complete immunity, which doesn't exist anyways. But man, they're sure trying to milk it. And I guess Jack Smith is going, okay, you know what? We're not going to wait for the trial to start, and then they're going to start, and then we're going to delay. He's taking it up to the Supreme Court now, and he is looking for a clear-cut U.S. Supreme Court answer about exactly what kind of immunity he does or does not have. Because the way I understand it is he has immunity for the things he did in his presidential duties, but not when he was acting as a candidate, not when he was campaigning, and certainly not when he was um, encouraging an insurrection. Okay, so that's tootled its way up to the Supreme Court. Um, Judge Chutkin's gag order remains in place. Judge Erdogan's his gag order was basically sort of reinstated. And this is the thing, those gag orders are not really, really broad and extensive. So, he just likes to bitch and complain because that's what he likes to do. And he wants to muddy everything up by having all of these little, oh, we have to talk about this and we have to talk about that. And are you sure that I shouldn't be allowed to just get away with that? And so let's take a peek and see how he's doing. Um, Trump current trajectory, Trump current trajectory, Trump current and trajectory. Let's take a peek, shall we? So, this is the thing about him, right? Is sometimes it's really kind of difficult to tap into his energy, because in some ways, honestly, it feels like he doesn't breathe the same air that the rest of us do. So right now, right now, he's being represented literally by the Knight of Wands, right? So he's just going along his merry, merry way. The lawyers, this is what I'm hearing, is the lawyers have finally figured out how to manipulate him so that he does what they want him to do, but he thinks it's his idea, right? Which is like, come on, that's what other world leaders did, do they not? They understood his personality and they knew exactly what strings to pull. So they have started to figure out kind of at least a little bit how to corral him a little bit. But in the process of doing that, um, he is getting more and more inflated with this idea that he is invincible, all right? Just invincible. Because it almost seems like his lawyers are no longer saying, um, that's not good, you can't do that, don't say that. It seems like they're refocusing things so that um I don't know, so almost like he's in sync with some of the things that they want him to say based on their various defenses. Um, so he's marching along to the beat. He's just singing his tune and whistling away. And, you've got the law kind of bearing down. And she, there's this sort of, oh, I might lose stuff. This might be bad. It might not be good. But he immediately flips back into this I'm wonderful. Everything is wonderful. I'm going to win. Everybody is behind me. And all of the indicators that he is sort of spiraling in not a good way are being like sort of he's being locked from them. So when, there are reports that, he thinks he's running against Obama, that kind of stuff just gets shushed under the rug and he doesn't kind of have to face it. It's a really interesting energy he's in. And this feels, I have to tell you, it feels quite different than previous times I've been stepped into that energy. So he's still feeling super defensive and he still, bless him, thinks that he can talk his way out of anything. He just does. That's how he believes that he has functioned and lived his entire life. He just talks. And he really thinks that that is what saves him. All right? He really has a very glorified idea of how things are going to go. And right now, I have to say, it looks as if this isn't about court cases. This feels like it is about whole numbers, which one understands that they're not reliable, but he doesn't. Okay. So he puts a great deal of weight on things like that. So he is still, as time goes on, just in the next like handful of weeks or so, it really feels almost as if he is going to be emboldened because there is an energy where he actually really, really thinks that he is going to um, that he is strengthening, that he is getting stronger, that he can turn away from the rules that everybody else, has to follow. And so don't be surprised if he becomes even more sort of aggressive, but more golly, what almost as if he's going to start taking a different tack. Okay, so one of the things that it feels like is going on is there has been so much talk about his dictator like tendencies and the autocracy that he wants to create. And, you know, Steve Bannon, Jesus weeps, I swear, for, I don't know, Secretary of State or some dang thing. Um, It's gotten really extreme, and it feels like the campaign is actually trying to pull him back a little bit from some of the stuff that is literally like sending red flares exploding into the sky. So you can see it feels like he's just going to shift a little bit so that he sort of steps away a little bit. You know, just kind of makes it so that he wouldn't be that bad. There is some sort of an understanding that he needs to attract more voters because even the people who love him are not enough people for him to win. So he is now going to start looking to the horizon, looking abroad for who he can draw in. And whoever he draws in, God help him, but they're not going to be drawn to this I am your vengeance person. So don't be surprised if there's a little bit of kind of a shifting, but it's not going to do anything. It's not going to serve him because people have really already made up their mind that he is truly um, dangerous. Now, most Democrats already believe that. It's the independents, it's the people that are new to voting this year. They're the ones that are starting to go, what the hell is he talking about? And, he's going to be trying to recruit new blood, new supporters. But honestly, it just does not feel as if that's going to help him at all. But it is going to give him that boost that he craves. That, energy of I'm invincible, I'm perfect, I can do no wrong. And so that's what I'm seeing for him. There's still a lot of anger, there's rage, there's this real disassociation going on, in some ways stronger than I felt it before. And then there is also this kind of trying to pull back some of the more extreme stuff. Now, do I think it's going to be successful? No. Do I think he's going to be able to um maintain for a period of time? No, I don't either. But the thing is he's going to try. So that's what it looks like is going on. We're heading into sort of the whole Christmas break. And in some ways it feels like the Republicans just wish he would, kind of just go to Mar-a-Lago and be quiet for a couple weeks. Because it's getting harder and harder for them to explain why it's a good thing for the United States president to run on a platform of I will be your revenge. Just saying. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Um, I hope this has been helpful. You all take really good care of yourself. Again, thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.